You are listening to Punisher Waterfowls, the Union 0430 podcast. Brought to you by Real Geese Silhouette Decoys, the most technologically advanced silhouette decoys on the market, and these other fine brands. Pit Boss Waterfowl, ducks, dogs, and decoys. Canadian Waterfowl Supply, Canada's #1 source for all your waterfowl needs. And Rig 'em Right, heavily seasoned.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Union 0430 podcast. I absolutely don't know what episode this is because everything is just mashed up. I think this is 255, I think, but I could be wrong. Anyways, forget I gave a number to the episode because I have no idea which one it is, but we're getting up there anyways. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. It's getting weird, Craig. I got to do new sponsors now, right? I got to bring up new sponsors. So,
You gotta
Real
remember,
Geese Decoys.
do the right ones.
Yeah, well, no, not so much remembering the right ones. It's different for so long, having some sponsors and now changing it. So Real Geese, thank you so much. Craig Mintz been in our corner right from day one. Pit Boss Waterfowl, Jeff Coates, obviously you heard him on the intro. He's on board again this time, and new this year's Canadian Waterfowl Supplies and Rig 'em Right. So amazing, and thank you so much. This week, if you are watching, you will see the handsome face of Mr. Rocky Stockdale coming to you all the way from Arkansas. And if you're listening, well, you can't see his happy face or his beautiful face, but you just have to take my word for it. And Rocky, buddy, thanks for coming on. I didn't realize it's been this long since you've been on the show. And
Since
Craig
I've been on last.
Yeah,
Yeah.
since you've been on last, because Craig has never met you, and you think that it was like
Yep.
2021 since the last time you've been on the show.
Somewhere thereabouts. Back when I started River at Decoy Rigs,
Wow.
where I was just trying to grow that small business, and
Yeah.
you had a spot to fill, so you asked me to fill it, and I was happy to do that.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I just can't believe it's been that long since you've been on the show, and it's not like we don't chat or not. Like we're not chatting every day, but we chat often. Just I don't know how it's been that long. But anyways,
At your age,
you're
the time
on.
just goes right by.
What?
It does.
This is true. Thanks, Craig. Thanks for
Oh,
that.
you're cutting up.
I want to listen, we recorded it. We already done one show where we talked about this, but it was a couple northern guys. So, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and then us guys up in Canada, we talked about it. But now, Rocky, you're down in Arkansas, and I'd like to get your take on this, and feel free, say whatever it is you want to say. But I am curious. I'm curious about, what? Did I screw up again?
Yeah, you're buffering real bad.
Man.
Yeah, it's like those times where it's when we watch the recording later on, it's fine, but usually we can make you out in the meantime, but not that time.
Okay, well, if that happens again, you guys just carry on, and I'll ask a quick question, and then let you guys go, because then that way, if I buffer, you're still good. So, Rocky, I'd love to hear your take on the I guess the letter to the U.S. Fish and Game on studying the impact of this flooded corn on the Mississippi flyway.
Yeah, Damien, you're breaking up there, but I'm pretty sure you're talking about the Senator Kennedy with the flooded corn proposal.
Yeah.
On private property. I think that's kind of where you're going.
Yeah.
That's a real hot topic right now, and if you're looking at social media, that's a hot topic from Louisiana to Arkansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, and I want to say I've been seeing it on some of the Tennessee pages also. Man, I'm a type of guy that I would really like less government in my life.
Yeah.
But if there's an efficient way to manage the flooded crops on private property, maybe it's worth looking into. But again, how do you tell a man what he can and can't do on his property? Um, maybe it's something like a CRP type of deal. Maybe that's some sort of something that can be brought up.
What's a
CRP, WRP, a landowner puts, huh?
what's a CRP?
Man, I'd have CRP I can't remember what the CRP stands for. I'd have to Google it
Right.
real quick. Um, but basically, landowners put their ground, they agree to the state to put their property in CRP. Um, I can look it up real quick, but basically it's undisturbed habitat.
Okay.
If that's what I,
Yeah, you're sort of
yeah.
you're protecting it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if a landowner had a CRP and put it in a CRP type situation, um, maybe they just leave it as a rest area instead of actually hunting it. Because I think CRP you can still go over and hunt those areas, but I don't know. I just putting more government in our lives is something I don't think anybody wants to see. But we'll see what happens with this. Craig,
Yeah.
I mean, are you following along with any of that down here, or what's your thoughts?
Mostly just via social media, right? And following the
Yep.
comments and that, because it's just, and one thing I was just going to say, it's very different world for you guys versus us. Cause like, that's one thing I'm seeing in the last couple of days in the comments is the, the topic of telling a guy what he can do or not do on his property. Whereas up here, we're more used to that. We're used to
Yeah.
being so heavily regulated and being told what we can and can't do on our own property a lot more than you guys are. So
Right.
the first couple of days wasn't seeing as much of those comments, but then since we recorded our last podcast, I've been seeing more and more, and that seems to really be the thing that sticks a lot of people on the state side is just getting the government out of your own property, sort of thing. Where
Right.
we forget about that. We can't we don't we don't want the government in our lives any more than it has to be, but it's not the same atmosphere here
Mm-hmm.
versus there, and I think that's definitely a foreign thing for us up here, just kind of pushing back as much as you guys are used to. And I was just looking while you were talking, the CRP is the Conservation Reserve Program. So yeah, it's just basically
There
Okay.
you go.
putting it
Yeah.
in kind of like an easement type situation.
Yeah.
Yep. And I don't know. You guys have probably heard the saying that we've heard. It's like the rich man floods the corn, the poor man dumps the corn in the water. I mean, what's the difference? I mean, if you want to talk about the duck has to work harder to get the corn off the cob versus it's already there for him, or I don't know, man. It just maybe there's a solution, and maybe some people that are a whole lot smarter than myself can figure it out. But um, that's a very hot topic right now. It's a very sensitive subject, probably with private landowners, and
Rocky,
I mean it's going to come down to the almighty dollar.
but yeah. But do you, I guess, my biggest question to you is, um, and I'll preface this just like I did the other day when I talked about this, is that I have no idea the magnitude of the flooded corn that there is along that's stopping birds coming into the Mississippi flyway, right? Because that's something that as a Canadian, I just can't get my head wrapped around just how much. So I have a hard job believing that the flooded corn is stopping birds from making its way all the way down south. I tend to think that it's habitat loss and weather that drives that more than anything. What's your thoughts with, like, do you think the flooded corn is making an impact?
I don't know. I don't know that it's making an impact like what we're seeing on social media right now.
Okay, yeah.
I think my own personal opinion. I think a major problem with the migration is the weather.
Yeah.
It is, this particular season in itself has been very, very warm. And if a guy sits and thinks about it for a minute, over the last couple years, it has not been cold. We might have a couple days where it locks up pretty good, but it has not been cold to our north to where the ground is frozen, the food is frozen, it's snow covered for weeks, the water's locked up, and these birds got to go find something else.
Mm-hmm.
So I think more than the flooded corn situation right now, I think the weather is a major impact right now. Um, I know a lot of guys up through South Dakota, North Dakota, Wisconsin, Minnesota that they're saying they've got thousands upon thousands of birds still up north, and oh, you got to ask the question, why is that? It just can't be a flooded corn issue. You ask
Yeah.
them what their weather is, and it's overnight lows are in the 20s, and the birds are keeping the water open, and it's not snowing, so the food's not covered up, and that's probably more the issue than the flooded corn.
Yeah.
Also, I, personally, I think the flyaways have shifted west. Um,
Okay.
I don't have any scientific data that I can
Yeah.
argue that point, but I feel that our birds have shifted west. Just me personally.
And that's
Well,
something a lot of people have been saying the last couple of years too. And I know like
yeah.
even Damien said that in the past too. It just seems like they've bumped over a bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, and the last recording, there was 5 of us on here, all from like the guys from northern states, the other 3 of us from Ontario, and all of us still have birds in the area. So
Yeah.
the guys are calling in from Pennsylvania and Ohio. We're up here in Ontario. All 5 of us still have birds. So
Yeah.
obviously there's birds not going south. And to kind of just touch on like the corn aspect and the size of it, like you said, Damien, like what does that look like? And those big clubs or anybody that's got these flooded fields, it's probably not just that's not a one-off thing that they're doing. What else are they doing on that property that's creating
Absolutely.
habitat, that's potentially holding birds? And
Yeah.
like not just that corn, like what else are they doing
Yeah.
to improve that area and that habitat
right.
that's going to potentially hold them?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah, I'm pretty
you
sure the Coca-Cola woods. Oh, go ahead,
Yep.
Damien.
No, go for it, buddy.
I was just saying, I'm pretty sure the Coca-Cola woods over in East Arkansas, Rusty Creasy does an amazing job managing that property, and I'm pretty sure that they have a lot of their ground in rest area only. They don't even bother going in there. Leave the ducks alone. So in
Right.
turn, what that does is it holds them birds, like Craig was saying. So these big clubs that have that kind of ground that has that opportunity to do that, they can hold ducks and not pressure them. So
Mm-hmm.
it all goes in hand. So
I wonder and maybe this is a ridiculous question. Maybe I'm stating the obvious. But I don't know because no one has ever said it to me. But do you think on a strategic level, so let's say these, somewhat northern clubs, right? So to play along with what both of you were saying, that they've created some habitat and they put zero pressure on the birds, and the birds are just holding up there, right? Strategically, is somebody doing that just to imprint on the birds that, hey, this is as far as you need to go? You don't need to go any further because it's safe here, right? Like, is that did somebody sit down and go, hey, listen, let's just leave these 10,000 acres with zero, never hunted, no hunting, no nothing. This is just for the birds from to sit and do their thing and relax and have no hunting pressure on it. I wonder if that is a reason why some of these fellas are doing it. Like, are they doing it just in the long run? It's going to benefit them. Short term, they're watching 90,000 mallards pile into some flooded ground, and they're just seething because they can't go hunt them. But they know in the long term it's going to pay off. I wonder, is that a thing?
I mean, if I had the money, I would do it. I mean,
Yeah.
10,000 acres, that's that's a huge rest area.
Right.
But
I
I
threw
mean,
out
if I
that
had the
number,
money
yeah.
and I could put but that's not an outrageous number, but if I had the money and I could put 15, 20, 30 acres in a rest area and not even bother those birds,
Yeah.
if you were a duck, would you leave? I mean,
No.
you have a safe space, you have plenty of food, you have water,
Yeah.
and you're not far to go back to the mating grounds, you know?
Yeah. Well, and
Well,
the
if you
other
watch
thing,
you watch any YouTube videos of anybody at these big clubs, it's like these clubs have been around a long time. They've got people on staff that this is what they do. They're managing the property, they're managing
Mhm.
the populations, and then you usually hear that they're working with Delta Waterfowl or Ducks Unlimited. So it's not just somebody that has a chunk of land that's just throwing out some corn or doing whatever. Like this is long term stuff. Like these are big
Yeah.
projects within themselves.
yeah, and
I
huge
mean, I
costs too.
myself, we have a yeah, we have a little lease down the road from my house. And I mean, I'm trying to print on the ducks. I've got an area that I'm trying to develop, no different
Yeah.
on a much smaller scale, but no different than a club would be. I'm trying to develop for one area, a rest area, and then one area where we can go over here and hunt them. But when I say a small area, I'm talking like a couple of acres, you know.
Right.
But
And that's
it just makes
some
sense. It just makes sense.
I guess I'm gonna have to bend your ear on this a little bit offline, Rocky, because I have the opportunity to do the same thing on my property. I can create an area that's probably an acre or two, that I could turn that into a so to be fully transparent, I would turn it into a rest area or so that the birds can imprint. I would leave them alone for a couple years and then I would go and start hunting it, right? But
Yeah.
I could sit back and watch it for a couple years and let the birds build up in there and the whole bit. I gotta bend your ear on how to do that because I've never done anything like it and I don't know what's going on. But
Yeah.
anyways, I when we were talking before we hit the record button and we had brought up this about the flooded corn and stuff and we were talking weather, I seen a snowpack map the other day. There is nothing south of the US Canadian border right now. Snowpack. Like the Dakotas, no snow. Zero.
Yep.
And if there's no snow in the Dakotas, like the birds are not gonna move if the weather or if the food. So in this case, the weather is not pushing them. But yesterday here, it was, I don't know, it was probably 10 degrees Celsius. So that's probably, I don't know, probably 50
Don't even.
degrees. No, it's probably
52-ish.
52-ish degrees here. And I was out by the door and the amount of I have not seen a ton of geese flying over my property in the last month. But if I go to the big water, I can always see geese and ducks out on the big water, like out on Lake Ontario, right? Because that never freezes.
Yep.
But yesterday at like 52, 53 degrees, somewhere in around there, I seen a lot of geese flying over my property yesterday. And that tells me I think we may be seeing a little bit of a reverse migration in my area right now because I'm seeing birds yesterday that I haven't seen in the last month.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the bottom line is for your type of species, if you're moderately warm,
Mm-hmm.
if you have plenty of food and you have areas where you can go be safe, why would you
Yeah,
leave
absolutely.
that? I mean,
Absolutely. No
so
different than
And even
at the end of the
especially with
day,
no different than when we were nomads, right? No different than the indigenous people and the native people that roam North America. When they found a spot that had good food, good weather, they fucking stayed. They didn't move. And the birds are doing the same thing, right? Which is why anyways, I think we've agreed we know what the reasoning is. I would like to see this study go ahead. I would like to see if somebody can say, well, yeah, listen, Missouri is holding a ton of birds. I don't think there's
Yep.
anything you can do to stop that, because, like you said, that's the government getting their hands in private matters of someone's own property. And I don't know, now in Canada, we sort of kind of accepted communist Canada here, but yeah, I don't know the way forward. But I would like to see the study be done, and I would like to know what they come out on the results on this, because I don't think it's the
Oh
flooded
yeah,
corn personally.
Yeah.
I think it's a combination. I'm not going to totally dismiss the thousands and thousands of acres that are
Right,
flooded with food. I'm not just going to dismiss that altogether.
right.
But I think if this is such a hot topic right now and a study isn't done,
Yeah.
heads are I would say heads have to roll. But I think if it going forward, every waterfowler from the Texas coast to the Canadian border is going to be watching this. And if you're
Oh,
not,
one.
then you're
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
you're then your head's in the sand, you know.
it could be a total game changer for stateside, for southern hunters. Well,
Yep,
for the southern state hunters, this is huge, right? This is a huge deal to them,
yep,
because southern state hunters have been saying it for a while. So now they've got a government official that's hearing their voice, and he's asked for this study to be done. The northern guys, who have their own opinion and is saying, it's weather, there's a lot more safe habitat for them, or we've lost a bunch of habitat. Like, I listened to Ira McCauley from Momers today. He done a video, and he pointed out, in Missouri, like, he grew up in Louisiana, and that's where he grew up hunting. And he said, of course things have changed. It's not the same as what it was when he was a kid, going around Louisiana. But he said, and I'm not sure if he's in Missouri or Kansas, but it's one of those. And he's saying, like, there's one spot where there's been an increase of habitat of 10,000 acres. That's just one spot that he knows of, that there's been an increase in
yeah,
habitat. So after 10,000 acres, like you said, like that's a significant piece of real estate. So if that is
yeah.
there, the chances that's sucking in a lot of ducks, and they're probably not going to leave, right? But anyways, well,
And
I think
hopefully,
yeah, go for it, Craig.
I was just going to say one last thing. Like, hopefully, with the study, and like you said, with everybody watching, it's not just a quick, hey, we did a study, because, like, look at, if they were to be doing it this year, well, ducks aren't going to be down there because of the weather and them all still being up
Yeah.
here. And then over the last few years, some of the populations are still on a bit of on the downward side of the trend, probably before they kind of swing up. So it would have to be a good multi-year study to account for those things. Otherwise, even if they do it 1 or 2 years, you could just be catching a bad year for weather. You could be catching a bad hatch year. So they'd hopefully, if they do it right, and they do it long enough for it to really for that information to be useful.
Well, and
Yep.
here's
Agreed.
one for you. How about both? Well, I know the American government does it. I'm not quite sure how much the Canadian government does, but how about we dump some serious money into banding and GPSing ducks and geese? And listen, you can have all the studies you want. You want to know what the birds are doing? Start slapping GPS on them and start following that. That'll tell you what's going on.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure
Hey,
I'm
oddly
sure
enough,
there's
Austin's
yeah, go for it.
real quick about bands. Austin killed some bands this year.
Did
They
he
they
really?
dumped 11 Canada geese. Yep. 7 of them were banded. You want to take a guess of where they were banded?
Just down the road.
Yeah, probably just down the
You'd
road
be
from you.
you're way wrong, Craig.
Yeah.
Way wrong.
I
They
don't
were
know.
all banded in Manitoba.
Really? And they made it all the way down there.
Yes.
That's, dude, buddy,
They
that's
made it
some
all the way down
miles.
to Oklahoma.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I said that
Yeah.
because like a lot of times the guys in Ontario are like, oh, I got my first band and it was banded like a week before, just down the road or something.
Yeah.
Oh no, I
That's
mean that happens all the time. We have banding areas around here that guys are killing bands and they're just killed down the road, but they
yeah.
dumped 11 Canadas and 7 of them were banded, all out of Manitoba. 1 2-year-old and the rest were 1-year-olds.
Wow. So family
So
group. You way to go,
yep.
Austin. You just decimated a family group. Way to go. Way to go. Way to go,
Hey,
buds.
here's the dumb thing. I was supposed to go on that hunt, but I did the responsible thing and went to work.
Wow. Who was it? Just him and his buddies?
No, yeah, well there was four guys. I think
Yeah.
4 shooters.
Yeah. Fuck was that? Okay. Yeah, let's switch gears now. I think we've beat that one to death. That's been 2.5 shows we've spent on that, Greg. I did want to talk a little bit about BlueBird Waterfowl. For anybody that don't know, Rocky, you've been involved with BlueBird now for a number of years. You and George, George still owns the company, but you're very much George's right-hand man when it comes to BlueBird Waterfowl, and you guys have been traveling all over the States the last couple of years doing shows and the whole bit. Like, you guys have put some serious miles on, and I got to give George some credit for, um, you guys have really put into work and growing that brand and advertising and making sure you're in front of all the hunters. So tell us a couple things. So first off, tell us about how much you've seen BlueBird grow, and not from the business side, but the recognition side of other hunters using it. And because I have not seen them in action, but the wings that George came out with this year for the spinners. So a couple
Yep.
questions for you, dear, to get us going,
So
buddy.
yeah, man, brand recognition. Man, we're starting. I say starting because we 2021, 2022. Anyhow, I can't. We're still a relatively young company.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you, man, I'm starting to see brand recognition a lot, especially on TikTok.
Okay.
Um, you see some of these guys talking about BlueBird. You see some guys that have their podcasts and like, man, we know who they are. Um, they're changing the game, and it's kind of cool when you hear that phrase, changing the game. We're trying to put, everybody has motion, but we're putting sound into our spread.
Yeah.
And I don't wildfire is not the right word, but it's spreading like wildfire.
Right.
So I guess I'll just go ahead and use that. But man, we are catching traction, and people know who we are. We've sponsored a few things
Yep.
last year at one of the shows. So people are recognizing BlueBird Waterfowl and what we're bringing to the industry.
Yep.
So that's always cool to see that grow. You asked about those wings. So
Yeah.
the wings we have a low vis, so it's 3D printed on both sides. So you lose that strobe effect.
Right.
So it kind of makes it a little bit more realistic, I guess, so to speak, because
Yep.
you don't have the white on the backside. So some guys, when they want to turn their mojos off, if they stop white
That.
side up, everybody's running out there and flipping over wings.
Yep.
But we have a 3D printed on both sides, so that we've cut that right out. Um, and they're the traditional wing shape, the oval.
Yep.
And then we have our 6 and 8 inch paddles. They're black and white.
Okay.
Um, we have some drone footage, and you can pick those up way faster than a standard wing or even our low vis wings.
Oh, I bet.
Um, we've had, oh yeah, we've got guys that are using them in the field versus the water,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, man, these birds are just responding to it way faster out in the field or, dry field hunting.
Right. It's
And,
like a magnet,
so,
eh?
and then another
Yeah.
thing is, I mean, yeah. And these things float. So, we're, you know, saving people money, when, you drop your wing and
Yeah.
gosh dang it, and so inevitably you're in too deep of water to reach down there and grab it. And,
Yeah.
so, our wings float, but it's a
I
pretty
wanted
cool
to,
product.
yeah. No, I wanted to go back to
Go ahead.
I wanted to go back to something that you had said, when it comes to the motion, right? Like everybody knows that you got to have motion, right? In your
Yep.
spread. But on the water, I'm not sure if many people buy into the sound that the animator makes. Sure, it adds some ripples to the water, but I don't think that's the magic of the animator. I think the magic of the animator is the sound more so than the ripples
Yep.
that little plate when it's hitting the water. I appreciate the fact that it's making ripples and it's not a bad thing, but I think the
Yep.
magic is the sound, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's the barrier we're trying to break down.
Right.
Uh, all three of us have been out and scouted, and we have never walked into a flooded timber hole, walked up on a shoreline of ducks. You're creeping through the woods trying to find these ducks, and a riverbank. Not one of us have walked up on birds and they're not in there making noises.
Yeah.
So they're swimming around, they're splashing, they're fighting, they're feeding.
Yep.
They're curious creatures, and so that's just the barrier that we're trying to break down. Is listen, man. I've watched birds fly smack into the spinner that has the animator. I've put them behind me in the timber, and those birds are getting so close that you can hit them with a shotgun barrel. They're looking for that sound. But the proof's in the
Really?
pudding, and all we can do is, yep, all we can do is just get the product in front of somebody and let them try it out, and let them see for themselves. I mean, we've all year long we've had great comments, great messages.
Yeah.
Guys just smashing birds in fog. Um, I
That would
mean,
be, that's a
we've had
game
fog
changer
hunts
right
this year
there.
that's just been, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
the
So,
sound with the fog for sure.
oh
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah. You know, and it just, I don't know. Again, it's just trying to break down that barrier.
right.
We get the one that the thing that the comment that kills me the most is, man, I hate that sound. Well, when I first started duck hunting, I picked out a camo pattern that I liked, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what I liked. And
Yeah.
I quickly learned it's not what I like, it's what the
Yeah.
birds like. And if the birds are liking the sound and,
Yeah.
and you're killing birds, then why are you complaining about the sound, man? Just eventually it just becomes part of nature in your spread, and you don't even pay attention to it.
Absolutely.
But
You would
I
block it
get
out
it.
after a
I
while.
100% get it, but yeah.
I
George
was
just
just going.
texted me, Damon. He wanted me to let you know. He said,
Oh yeah. Well, I'll shoot him a message. Actually, my phone's over there, but I will shoot him a message. Um,
wait,
there was something I was going to say when you were talking about the sound and fellas saying, they don't like the sound. Oh, that the thing with motion, and I've talked about this on the show many times, and it always revolves around the spinning wing decoy, right? Because I know guys that say spinning wing decoys don't work, right? They don't finish birds, and that's what I'll hear people say, and I'll always say to them, I'm like, but a spinning wing decoy is not meant to finish birds. Birds aren't meant. Now, if they do finish, bonus. But the spinning wing
yep,
decoy is just an attention grabber. Then
yep,
for the birds to finish, it's your decoy spread, your calling, and your invisibility. That's what finishes birds. I don't think you'll ever be able to create a product that'll finish birds right in on your lap. Sure, there's some times that you'll get the lowest in the gene pool that'll come right in on top of you, but for the most part, you're only putting that out there so the sound, you're trying to get their attention, to get them to come over and have a look. Then it's on you. The spinning wing decoy or whatever it is that's creating the motion, that brings them in close enough to you. Now it's your job as a duck hunter to finish the birds, right? That's at least how I feel on it anyways. Craig, what's your thoughts on that?
No, I think you're pretty bang on with that.
Oh,
I mean,
well,
the animator, the spinning wing.
Short and sweet from Craig there. I was expecting Craig to go off on this big old rant there right then, but he was like, yep, sounds about right.
Craig said, no, I'm ahead, buddy. But no, I mean, the animator, the animator, the spinning wing, the pulsators, the jerk rig, they're all tools. They're all arsenals that we can use. Some days you don't need them. Our product in particular, if it's a windy day, I mean, the decoys are out there dancing on the water, so everything already has movement, so, we're BlueBird for a reason. When the weatherman's calling for 10 or 15 mile an hour winds and it's calm to 3 knots, 5 knots, and there's no movement, we're able to add the ripples in our decoy spread, which also brings the sound. And we do have a silent plate. So we have a sound plate that creates that crunch on the water, that we're trying to replicate the birds doing whatever it is they're doing on the water. But we also have a silent plate that you can almost take the sound completely out of your spread, but you're not losing that motion.
Right.
And then, I say to the guys that spinning wings are flaring their birds, you can run our product without the wings. Just pop your wings off and it's just still spinning off the bird. So
that's right.
You don't lose that crunch, that sound, the ripples on the water. You don't lose any of that.
Mm-hmm.
All you're losing is just running out there, pop your wings off and get back in the blind.
Yeah.
But it's all about options in that, right? You can't go with the same 3 dozen decoys, the same 5 motion wings, and the same 2 animators every single time.
Right.
Like it's not needed, or it's just not going to work, or like you've got to have all that gear and pick and choose. You can put it all out, doesn't mean it's going to work. So you got to figure out what's going to work that time and just have those tools available.
Yep. Craig, you're right, man. Sometimes you got to throw the kitchen sink at it, and sometimes less is more,
Mm-hmm.
So
no,
just
good
read
points.
The birds.
No, very good points. Like, you can't set the same spread every day in the same spot every day. You've got to mix it up, and with the animator, you do have those options. You can have a silent plate. You can have the plate that's making the noise. You can leave the wings attached. You can take them off. You can have black and white wings. You could have, the low vis, what I call the realistic, like the painted wings. There's a lot of options there. And as a waterfowler, I think, the majority of us, especially the ones that are lying in the tooth. Now, I can be lazy on days when it comes to some of this stuff, that I don't necessarily change everything up every day. Like sometimes if it's working, I'll keep rolling with it until it won't work. But I think there's a lot of fellas out there that totally, guys, girls, I think there's a lot of people out there that totally understand that, hey, listen, there is no get rich quick product out there that's going to make the birds land in your lap 100% of the time. It's just not going to happen. So it, like you said, Rocky, it's another thing in your arsenal. It's another tool in your toolbox to add. Use it when you can or when you think it's going to benefit. And then on the days when, the wind is howling and there's no need for it, then why are you putting it out?
Right.
And if nothing else, it's one more thing that if you have it out and birds don't show up, you can blame it, right? That can be your excuse for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well
Yeah.
said, Craig.
Yeah. Oh, if I didn't have it, they would have been in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Never mind your scouting. You didn't scout well,
Yeah. Clearly,
Yeah.
that's the problem.
Yeah.
Rocky, I did
Oh,
want to
man,
talk
that's
to
funny.
you. I did want to talk to you about this too, as well, because Craig is somewhat of a new dog owner now. He's got his dog Maverick is down with a good friend of ours, Scott Rumble from Gander Ridge Retrievers. But I know you've trained Graham yourself, and even back, I think it was last summer, when I was doing some stuff and I was putting videos up on TikTok and stuff, and you were even telling me, hey, like, slow down a little bit, and like you're rushing everything too much, and you got to give her time, her meaning Lander. You've got to give her time to sort of kind of figure out what the hell is going on in the situation, right? So now that Craig is on this show, I get another reason to bring up dog stuff. And I really, it'd be good to get your feel for dog training, because you've done it all on your own. Unlike me, I've sent mine off to a pro a couple times for, a couple weeks here and there and stuff like that. But you've done the majority of it all on your own. So I just thought it'd be a good opportunity for you to talk a little bit about dog training on your own, and what tools you've used and that sort of thing.
Yeah. So just to clarify, I'm not a dog trainer.
No. Yeah.
Graham was a started dog. Graham was a started dog when I got him.
Okay.
But my first dog, she also went to trainers, but um, I've been a part of the retriever community for a number of years now, and I know a lot of people, and I've asked a lot of questions. And so my first dog, I got her as a puppy. I did some of the obedience stuff myself, which you got to have a lot of patience to do the obedience stuff if you're going to do that kind of thing, because they're infants, they're toddlers. It's no different than raising our kids. Um, but my first dog went to the trainer, because in my opinion, the very early stages of training is very, very important. And if you don't have enough time to devote to your dog, your end result is not going to be good. So if you're financially able to, give that dog to someone that can build a firm foundation. Um, and then from there you can go. And that's kind of what I did with Sally, and that's kind of what I did with Graham. But I had help along the way. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so Graham, I got him as a started dog. I think he was all the way through swim by and three-handed casting when I got him.
Okay.
He already had a firm, yeah. So he had a firm foundation from which to work. So I can continue building from there. And just along the way, because of networking, I can call people and ask questions and say, hey, here's where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what's going on, and how do I fix the problem? So and I did send Graham to a guy I know over here, about an hour or so east of me, because Graham was rusty. He's just a meat dog.
Yep.
So we didn't do a whole lot of work in the off season, which is the dog owner's fault. A lot of the time it is the dog owner's fault when the dog's messing up,
Mm-hmm.
because they are dogs. But I got the rust knocked off of them, and we go out and do stuff, and then season's here, so we're doing live training.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, I've been around the retriever community for quite a number of years now, and Damien, when you were posting those videos last year, I just said no to some things because of the questions that I had asked
Yeah.
and some of the things that I was doing. And I've known you for a number of years now. So,
Yeah.
and I'll say it to a random person. I'm like, hey man, what you're doing is not necessarily wrong, but here's a better way to do
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
wrong, but it could be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
of course. And
So,
you know, I- I'm a fairly open-minded person, so unless somebody comes on to me and says, "You're an idiot. Why are you doing that?" But if you're giving suggestions, I'm going to take every bit of advice, help I can get, and I'm going to try to apply it. As you know, there's nothing wrong with reaching out to somebody and saying, "Hey, listen, I've been watching your videos. Um, can I give you some pointers on what worked for me?" As long as you approach it in
yeah.
a sensible adult way of talking to somebody. But the problem is when someone says, "Oh, what are you, an idiot? Like you don't need to do that." Well, then right there, you're going to lose the
Yeah.
person. No one's going to want to fucking listen to you if you approach it like that. So, yeah, I just.
Right.
I just know Craig. I know his dog is away right now, and he's chomping at the bit to get his dog back, and I don't know. I'm living vicariously through Craig now because he's got a puppy, and the whole training thing is new to him, just like it was to me when I first got Lander. So I try to pull it into to shows as much as I can now, um, for Craig's benefit. But again, I live vicariously through him, so I guess it's to my
Yeah.
Well,
We
benefit
and
can,
too.
Craig, will the 26-27 season be the first year with your dog with you?
yeah,
Okay.
because yeah,
That's
I got him last Father's Day, and so he
okay.
just left on in November to go for 4 months for training.
Okay. So the 26-27 season will be the first year.
Yep.
Okay. That's a crucial year for your dog. In my own personal opinion. When you get Maverick back, do not pull the trigger. Leave your shotgun in the case or leave it
Okay.
hanging on the tree. Your 100% of your focus needs to be on your dog.
Okay.
Yeah, and eventually you will learn when it's time for you to start being a part of harvesting birds. Um, you will be watching your dog, you'll be working with your dog, and there will come a moment that you will know your dog is ready to be um a duck dog in a sense to where you can start getting into the volleys. But the number one thing that, and I did it with my first dog. I messed up with my first dog, and I joined in the volleys, and I would have to tell myself not to do that, and I would fix the problem, and then I would get too itchy wanting to shoot ducks, and I would fall off the wagon again. So I learned the lesson the hard way. So anytime I find out anybody has a new duck dog, my number one response to that is 100% of your focus needs to be on that dog and nothing else. If you want a good duck dog,
That's cool insight because like I don't think any of all the good tips I've had, and like I've had nothing but good help, good tips from everybody all along. I don't think anybody's mentioned that. Everybody was always happy to hear that like I wasn't trying to get him out this season or anything like that.
yeah,
And is like and everybody knows like this is my first dog ever. So I didn't know how to do obedience. So it was all everything 100% brand new to me. So
yeah,
like I was good to have a full solid year before getting him out in the field. And I'm never one like if I'm out with a group of people, I'm never the first shooter or anything like that anyway. So that's
yeah,
good to hear. Like it's good that if I'm out with other people, I can take that time and just kind of take the time to handle him. And I was watching a few YouTube videos today and watching the guy miss a number of birds, and the dog's just whining and just ready to go. And I'm like, oh, that's gonna be poor Maverick. I'll be shooting lots. He's gonna be ready to go, but there's gonna be no birds to chase.
yeah.
So hopefully, yeah, that'd be good in the first season. Just try and get out with other people and just handle him.
And I would also say that Maverick's first couple of hunts, or maybe even first a half a season or a full season, again, you'll start to learn your dog and what they can and can't do and the things that they're not responding to and the pressure, because training is a whole lot different than being in the field. Um, I would suggest that you keep your hunting groups to small numbers, and by
Yeah.
small numbers, I would say at a maximum 3 shooters, maybe even just keep it to 2 shooters and yourself.
Yeah.
Um, just because there's so much going on. I mean, just imagine your first duck hunt as when you went out. If you went out in a party and there's 9 guns and everybody unloads their tube, that's 27 rounds. That is a lot of
Yeah.
shooting. Imagine that on a new duck dog.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So just keep it small, keep it focused, laser focused on your dog, and you'll be so happy with the end result. I promise.
No, it's good. It's good to know. Because yeah, like for Maverick, like he was doing really well. I was, for being a first dog, he's been super easy for me. And now being away with Scott, like I'm starting to get more updates now that he's into retrieving and that more. So it looks like he's doing well. So I'm excited that he's going to be a good dog.
Yep.
And yeah, like, and I've joined the local retriever club, and I've hunted with a couple of those guys that are now on that board. And so it's good. I've got a lot of people at my disposal that are willing to help. And even beforehand, like I was posting stuff on YouTube and on Instagram, like just playing with them in the yard and that, and asking the same thing, like whether I was asking or not. Like the first couple times I posted, people would respond and say, "Hey, why are you doing this? You should maybe try this." And then I started posting it and be like, "Hey, here's what I'm doing. Brand new. Let me know what your thoughts." And it's been good. It's been really helpful. Like
Big question: is it black, yellow, or chocolate?
he's a red.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's like that nice kind of deep yellow color that I'd always kind of pictured.
Yep.
And so no, I'm happy.
There's nothing I can.
Good.
There's nothing I can do about Phil, because Phil is Phil. But I was under no circumstances allowing Craig to get a chocolate dog. None whatsoever. Wasn't happening.
Oh man, I bet old Philly was in his ear. Get a chocolate, get a chocolate, get a chocolate.
Oh, of course he was.
Well, that was one thing.
Was.
That was one easy decision, because like I'd been reluctant to get a dog forever, and for a bunch of reasons, especially one being that I've never had even a family pet growing up, and but like that was one thing my wife and I were always pretty sure. I was like, if we were getting a lab, we were going to get a red, but not one of those reds. Nothing.
Right.
Not one of those really light colored yellows. It wanted to be somewhere in between. So that was another kind of added layer that took longer to pick a dog, because it was never quite the right dog for us. So
right.
Yeah.
No, Maverick turned out really well.
They're a huge responsibility, and some people take on that responsibility not realizing how. I mean, it's a kid. I mean, it's another kid.
Yeah.
Except they can't tell you what's wrong, and they can't tell you that they're not feeling good. They can't tell you that they're happy. So they're a blessing, and they're a pain in the ass. I mean, hey, listen, if your dog, I put this on Facebook the other day. I said, I'm going to start a duck dog therapy group, because Graham has amazed me. He has amazed me and frustrated me all in the same weekend.
All in the same hunt.
So, all in the same hunt. Yes.
100%. I've seen mine do just some amazing things. And then at the other end, I'm like, well, you just like, shut up, like, be quiet. Like, geez, you just don't stop. But yeah.
Well, when people have always said, it's like, oh, it's like having a kid again, having a baby again. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm sure there's similarities, but 100%, like, it's like the thing I thought that really caught me off guard was like those weeks or those days of regression, where it's like, like they've been great, they've been easy, and then all of a sudden for a couple of days, it's like they get real stupid. It's like what the hell what's wrong with you? You were normal yesterday, and then 2 days later they're back to being perfectly fine. It's like what the hell? But yeah, 100%, like so much like a kid.
Yeah. At the end of the day, they're just dogs, man. The guy that knocked the rust off of Graham, I called him and we talked for a little bit. At the end of the day, we got to remember, these are just dogs. There are some amazing animals out there, and some guys have some amazing animals. And even those dogs probably have days where they're just dumber than a box of rocks.
Buddy, I haven't done a ton of like hunt tests or trials or anything like that, right? But I've done some, and I've done a lot of training with guys that do that, as their thing. That's their thing that they do, and the breaking, and I've been around some amazing dogs, and I've heard more than one trainer say it's not if they're going to break, it's when are they going to break, because they're all going to break. And I've heard some really, really experienced trainers say they'll humble you every day. You might think you got this rock star, but at some point that dog's going to do something that you're just going to go, what did you just do? Like, where did that come from? So I just, when you talk about kids, when you were comparing them to kids, the first thing that came to my mind especially as a lab owner, because they're so food driven, is how many times were you running around and pulling something out of their mouth when they were puppies because they were trying to eat it. And I'm like, that is exactly like a baby. Like, you just constantly trying to make sure that the friggin' thing didn't choke on something.
Take something out of the mouth, you literally look the other way, look back. They haven't even left your side. It's like, where the hell did you just get that? There's something else in their mouth.
Yeah, that's them.
I mean, listen, Craig, at the end of the day, you're ultimately responsible for Maverick and how he's a family pet, how he's your sidekick, how he's a hunter. So, dude, if you ever have any questions, and you can shoot me a message. If I can help you, I can help you. If I can't, I can find an answer for you. So you can add me to that list of networks, so.
Oh, awesome. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, not a problem. So,
and I think that's, and that's just another layer of this community, right? Like, so you got fellas, if you look at waterfowl hunting, right, you've got fellas that are really good duck callers and goose callers. Then you've got the crew of fellas that just know how to, carve a decoy. And then you've got another group of guys that can train dogs and teach dogs to do those retrieves for you. And then there's dudes out there that can teach how to, like Steve BLO there from Clays and Wings, right? Like he teaches people how to shoot. We see Bobby Hayes with Ducklander Calls that puts off calling clinics. And then there's all of these online tools now for dog trainers and all these amateur dog trainers that are, and they're good. Like, I know tons of fellas that are amateurs, but they could be pros. They just don't want the pro title, and they don't want to, that's not their only thing. Like, we as a waterfowl community, we have so many aspects that we can, and there's a group of people for each one of those aspects that you can, and they want you to ask them for advice. That's the beauty about it.
Yeah.
Is that they honestly do want you to ask questions. It's an amazing community.
it is. It
And I've
truly
found
is.
it's gotten better over the last bunch of years. Like, and we've talked about it before, like, just seems to be, there's always assholes, but like last few years, even on social media and stuff, like, it just seems people are getting more level headed again. Like, there's always those outliers, but it
Of course.
seems like and it could just be over time. Like, again, your algorithm changes, your group of people changes, and it depends on who you're like who you're surrounding yourself with. But definitely, I've seen a much better crowd the last bunch of years.
Well, I think a lot has to do. I think a lot has to do with maturing, right? So, if you got into duck hunting, let's say you're 35 years old now, and you got into duck hunting when you were 25. Well, the group of people 10 years ago, they've changed a lot in those 10 years, right? They've matured. So it's just it's a maturity level that, sure, we still have assholes, and we've got assholes that are in their 50s. But I think you're right, Craig. The majority of people are seeing, hey, listen, we don't have to be jerks. We could be nice to one another. It is only a bird, as Billy Campbell would say. It's only a darn wet duck. Why are you going to lose a friend over it? So, or whatever. But I don't know. A great community, and this is just another example, because all you got to do is talk about something that's important to you as a waterfowler, and guaranteed there's someone that's been the same, and they've figured it out, or they've put the time in and they've learned some tips and tricks, and they just want to help you. I think it's amazing, and I think it's an amazing community that we're a part of.
100%.
And with that, fellas, we are at the 1 hour mark, and I think we'll call her here. And because I'm down in my garage, and while I was talking that it was warm yesterday, it's colder than a witch's tit right now. And I'm telling you, I am.
Can't got battle today.
Oh boy, it's cold here. My furnace,
keep blowing it south, man.
Yeah, like I'm telling you, man. Like my furnace is not it's not keeping up to it. The furnace in the garage, like that's when I stepped away. I had to go get some more wood pellets for the stove, because I'm like, geez, man, it's not warming up in here at all. So, but yeah, I would gladly send all this cold weather down. Just send it down south. Absolutely.
Please do.
I'll make
this year.
I'll make a call, see what I can figure out, buddy, but don't hold your breath. But I don't know. Anyways, boys, we'll do a quick around the table, and we'll finish her up. So, Craig, to you, my man.
That was a fun time. Rocky, good to meet you. And yeah, definitely, if I have any questions, I'll be hitting you up for sure. Thanks for the offer.
You bet, Rocky. Man. Craig, it was good to meet you, buddy. I've seen you on the show a lot, just keeping up with episodes, and it's finally good to talk with you. Man, Damien reached out to me and said, "Hey, you want to hop on the show? We shoot the shit a little bit." And like, yeah, man, I'm always down to talk about waterfowl. Whether I talk about old stuff or learn something new. So it was always good to be with you guys.
Absolutely, Rocky, to you, buddy. Last words, my man.
Man, just keep networking, keep improving every day. Like you're saying, become more mature every day, and
yeah.
At the end of the day, let the Lord have it, and we'll all get there someday.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I still don't know what episode this was, but it's been a great episode. It's been a great episode. Listen, surround yourself with good people. We are not experts, and we will never pretend to be. Big love. Until next time.